The occupier soldiers suddenly launched a massive offensive, hoping to seize the initiative and turn the situation in their favor. Suddenly, their equipment started exploding one after another. Flames instantly engulfed the vehicles, and not a single occupier managed to escape unharmed. The terrible news hit the Kremlin like a bolt of lightning. The largest Russian attack in recent times, which was supposed to crush the Ukrainian defense, unexpectedly turned into their worst disaster. And from this event, they say, the blood runs cold in the Kremlin offices and even in Putin himself. Greetings, viewers. Subscribe, leave likes, and comments on our YouTube platform. Well, for our part, let's get started. The armed forces of Ukraine repelled a powerful attack by Russian troops in the Pridniprovsk direction. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to the Southern Defense Forces, the occupying troops made a futile attempt to attack the positions of Ukrainian soldiers on Krylik Island. It is noted that since the beginning of the day in southern Ukraine, the Russian army has carried out 6 airstrikes, using 48 guided aerial bombs, as well as deploying 17 Shahed-type drones. In addition, in the Kupiansk direction, Ukrainian troops repelled a Russian mechanized assault near Petropavlivka. The enemy attack was stopped by soldiers of the 14th and 30th Separate Mechanized Brigades. The Russian command was counting on taking advantage of the snowfall, hoping that the bad weather would cover their advance. They hoped the snow would cover them, but it didn't, and it didn't save them. The assault stalled out, Ukrainian soldiers say. For the attack, the Russians used MTLB armored personnel carriers as well as ATVs and buggies with assault groups. Now, foreign media are reporting that Russia is likely preparing for a new offensive operation in southern Ukraine. At the same time, experts emphasize that while the Kremlin pretends to be ready for dialogue, the Russian army is amassing forces for strikes along key fronts from Donbas to Zaporizhia. Christoph Wanner, a journalist for the German publication Welt, stated in his report that the Russians are stepping up their troops in several directions in Ukraine, particularly in the south. As evidence of this, he cited examples of satellite images and relied on reports from war correspondents. According to him, Russia is likely preparing for an offensive in the areas of Pokrovsk, Hulayapol, and the territory west of Zaporizhia. At the same time, Wanner noted that certain data cannot be independently verified, since the material is mainly based on analytical conclusions from experts and the processing of information from open sources. Meanwhile, the New York Times reports that Russia is getting closer to capturing key Ukrainian cities. The publication notes that Russian gains in southern and eastern Ukraine could give Moscow an advantage in peace negotiations mediated by the United States. If Russian troops advance on the battlefield, Ukraine will likely face increased pressure on the diplomatic front, including from President Trump, who has echoed Moscow's argument that Ukraine should cede territory in a peace deal to avoid further fighting, the publication emphasized.